Hello. So delighted to have Michelle Bonn join us to talk about compliance team. But first, I have to say a thank you to MedTech. I met this amazing lady a little over a decade ago at a Rochester MedTech event. We have been friends ever since. I hold her in such high regards. She has evolved from just being in medical devices to doing great things across the whole biotech sector. She grew from guideline medical to compliance team and now is diving into the cannabis environment. And so I'm really, really excited about this conversation and for her to share her history and the trajectory of her team going forward. So with that, I'd like to welcome Michelle Bond to the MedTech Forum and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you
Ooh.
got to be here.
Yes, we did meet 10 years ago, and I have evolved quite a bit since then. Um, when I started Guideline Medical, I was focused solely, as you mentioned, on medical devices and bringing those products to market through the FDA. And about 7 years into my journey of running that business, I was almost always the only woman at the table, and I was watching clients go from, as I would go from project to project. And I'd say at least 30% of them were buying companies. And I'm thinking, well, come on, if they can do it, I could certainly do this. How do I figure this out? So um, I spent a good in 2014, I decided that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to grow beyond myself and some employees, and I really wanted to move into an industry that was male dominant, engineering focused, pharmaceutical focused, because I wanted to step into a space where I could actually make a difference for bringing women into leadership roles where they didn't have the voice before. So I love life sciences. My background is in statistics, quality control. Um, I taught Six Sigma to large manufacturers for a number of years. That's sort of how I got into this space. And then when I was, before I started my business, I was studying in graduate school, and I taught research methods, and I did a little bit of work in with clinical studies. So I have all this disparate knowledge. And as I was growing out Guideline Medical, I realized more and more that I need to create a niche for this regulatory piece, because that's the thing that people kept asking for over and over and over. So I followed that path. I sort of let Providence show me the way, and that's where I moved. And now, since 2014, and two failed deals later, and one that was successful, here I am, and I purchased Compliance Team in 2020, and now we're completely focused on consulting services for pharmaceutical, biotech, and now cannabis. And we manage all of the compliance, regulatory affairs, back end, horrible stuff that nobody wants to touch. And we keep these companies compliant so that they're in a state of control on the highest level they can be.
And I think important to note that in the process of acquiring compliance team, you also went and got your MWBE certification.
I did that, yes. Actually, I've done it almost every year since I've owned my company, since about 2010. So I had the experience all along. And then when I acquired the company, it was ironically kind of simple. And because I already had the structure down, and the hardest part was getting the New York State. It's still in queue. It took me 2 days to fill out the application, but now it's in queue, which is fine.
Wow.
But that, yeah. So what else can
So
I tell you?
tell me about your journey in Western New York and Buffalo. I know you started there, but you're doing work all over the world.
We do work we do. I've worked with clients in Italy, New Zealand, South Africa, and all over the country. So many states. Right now, we have a lot of work going on in St. Louis, Chicago, and my team is spread out. And this was an interesting thing. When I bought the company, I'm in Buffalo. The company was based in Chicago. I realized I wanted to stay in Buffalo. I love Buffalo. We have many seasons, and I've lived in many different states, and I realized there's something really special about the people here. The people are very helpful, very dynamic. It's like a cocktail party. Wherever you go, you know people, and they're willing to help, which that's just sort of my core as well. So I chose to stay in Buffalo, and I closed the Chicago office, and now we're headquartered in Buffalo with my team spread out all over the country.
Mm-hmm. And just because I know you're so happy there, take a minute and talk about your Hansa co-working space.
Oh, my co-working space, this is great. So the building is designed for small to mid-sized companies, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs. It really covers a wide angle of different people, and every business in the building is different. And what I found the building to be is a fantastic networking opportunity. I mean, there are events here regularly. I ran into a women in construction meeting a couple months ago. Completely suits my industry. I attended just on a random whim. There's always something going on here, and it has led me to very interesting people. And ironically, it led me into the new product line and business that we're deciding to move into as of 2022, and that's cannabis. So
Awesome.
Because of people I met in this building, I realized that our services are very lacking in that industry, and it forced me to start researching an entirely new industry and realize that this is what we do will serve cannabis just as well as pharmaceutical.
Brilliant. Brilliant. And can you talk a little bit about the project we worked on together with economic gardening?
Oh, yeah. That happened, let's see, when was that now? Last summer, August, September. One of the challenges I was faced with is that a lot of the work I'm trying to do is tied to new construction. So we will go in, let's say a big construction firm builds out a new manufacturing facility of pharmaceutical or medical device. One of the things that we can do for those projects is to go in and qualify and install and validate all the equipment and the processes after the project is built out. So one of the things I was trying to do is build out a solid list of construction firms that would also have interest in working with women-owned companies. And the Economic Garden Program helped me do that. So we obtained a really solid list of about, I think it was 300 firms, engineering firms, construction firms, that lot of interaction. And we reached out to actually a couple of them now are on our short list to work with us when they get more projects coming in the life sciences space. So it's helping for sure.
That's amazing. I'm so excited for you. So where do you think the opportunities are in the future? And, speaking to the audience that we're talking to now, why should they give you a call, and how are you going to help them?
Well, the future that will always be in life sciences, because our drugs, our medical devices, our anything that touches our bodies in a hospital needs to be safe and compliant. That will always be in that space. But the new place is definitely cannabis. And that is a very interesting dichotomy from pharmaceutical, because the people we work with are very they're not as sophisticated as pharmaceutical, meaning they don't know that the regulations are as important as they are. So when I work with these potential clients, there's a lot of education. and we teach them, okay, you're in a regulated space. These are the things we can help you do. And we will keep you free from FDA intervention, poor labeling. We'll help you manage all the regulatory quality control issues that you need to do for manufacturing, for standard operating procedures, all of those things. So cannabis and drug, because
Yeah.
cannabis is
Well,
a drug, obviously.
and food, right? USDA and FDA.
Yes. Well, here's the interesting thing. Cannabis isn't regulated by FDA per se because it's not a federally legal drug. So all of the regulations go from state to state. So that's what we have to pay attention to, state regulations. However, if something goes awry and a cannabis company that's making a food or a gummy or selling something that makes medical claims on that product, then the FDA can step in and say, this is not an approved drug or a medical claim for depression, anxiety, sleep, any of those things. So those are the pitfalls we'll help people avoid as we work with them through the whole process from starting their facility to aftermarket sales.
How perfect. How can people best get a hold of you to engage you?
Oh, they can email me. It's mbonn at complianceteamllc.com. You can also visit our website.
Excellent. Fabulous. Anything else we need to know about the work that you're doing and some last thoughts?
We're just really excited to be based in Buffalo and to be working with a real life sciences, I want to say ecosystem, but I don't, a life sciences sphere that is actually growing here. It's exciting to see that. And I've been able to work with a lot of entities in Buffalo.
Yeah. It's amazing to me from the time that I got engaged in the biotech sphere ecosystem in 2007 to where we are here in 2022. I'm so excited, the trajectory, where we've come from, where we are, and where we're going, and how growing the cluster has been. And I'm especially appreciative of MedTech for allowing us this opportunity to highlight our region and want to encourage people to reach out to us and be a part of what we're doing here in our cluster.
Yeah. MedTech has helped me tremendously with navigating New York State. I've met a lot of customers and really good partners through MedTech.
Good deal. Well, Michelle, thank you so very much, and look forward to seeing more from you in the future.
Well, thanks, Kim. It was a pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.